proactive approach to ensuring health and safety in the workplace. The JSA process provides a way of identifying job-related hazards and determining preventative measures. And Brent Beach will go through this. Brent Beach is our instructor today, I guess, and he's currently the safety loss incident manager in the Region 4 area. So I've got roles that you guys will need to get your names on.
And then pass these out. Everybody should have a initial handout that has a little bit of information on it, because it goes through and talks about here, Todd. Oh, cool. This has, there's 2 pages to each one.
Yeah.
Well, come on in, hurry.
Man, you guys can come up front. I showered this morning. No, you can come up halfway. Okay. Anyway, the agenda for today, this is going to be a quick class on job hazard analysis, job safety analysis, however you want to say it, it's all the same thing. There's a handout coming out, and there's also a role to sign. Make sure you do that. So what we're going to do is cover a job safety analysis. We're going to talk about at-risk versus a safety culture and benefits of why we're using a JSA, why we should use one, how to use it, supervisor management buy-in, close call forms, incident investigations, after-action reviews. We're going to touch on all that today. Everybody should have a handout that's got a couple pages. There's some good information we're going to cover in there that's important to what a JSA is and why we should use it. That being said, we'll just go ahead and go through it. Okay, what is a hazard? So basically a hazard is anything that can harm an individual, can cause damage to property, like a vehicle damage, or a piece of equipment, or cause damage to the traveling public. Any questions on what a hazard is? Okay. Risk means the chance that someone or something someone's going to get hurt or something's going to get damaged because of that hazard. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, any questions on what the definitions are? Those are the rules for today. Okay, next thing, job safety analysis. Basically, all it is a technique that it's used in Region 4. We're going to have a form. In UDOT, we're going to have a form that we're going to fill out, and it's going to assist you in analyzing the risks, identifying the hazards and analyzing the risks for each task you do. Okay, so you have a whole job. You break it down into tasks, and then you analyze each task. Okay? And then, in the end, we're going to talk about how to eliminate them or mitigate them. Okay? 5 steps to doing this. Select the job to be analyzed. Break the job down. Identify the hazards. Determine potential hazards. Determine preventive measures to control these hazards. And communicate and inform others. So just because you know about it doesn't mean that isn't good enough. You have to make sure that everybody that has potential to come in contact with that hazard knows about it. So when you fill out a JSA form in the beginning of your workday, everybody that is on that project or involved in that project is going to be involved in that job safety analysis. We good?
I don't know, there's 6 names on it. Everybody signed it, so.
Okay, here's a flow chart. You select the job, divide the job into sequence of tasks, identify the hazards, recommend controls or mitigate, determine preventative measures, and periodic review and continuous improvement. Now this sounds complicated, but it's really pretty easy. You guys all heard of that Hilldale incident where UDOT went down and helped Hilldale get unburied from the floods? Our crews did a JSA every single day. And Todd was down there, Nick was down there. How'd that work out for you guys?
I can explain about it, how we did it, would that be all right?
Yeah, you can explain it. I hope do you have a microphone you can pass out, or are we okay?
I think we'll be okay. So, while we were down at Hilldale, we got a wireless is on the same frequency.
Oh.
JSA forms. So, where we had like 3 guys running blades, 4 guys running loaders, 8 truck drivers, I don't need that.
Well, it's being filmed. It's being broadcast on the web.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so where we have different groups of people running different pieces of equipment, what we done was all those driving trucks, they would get together as a group, fill out one of these forms. As a group, they would discuss what are the potential hazards, what can they do to prevent things from happening, whether they're, like I said, a group of truck drivers, guys sweeping, guys running loaders or running graders. And so we did it at the beginning of the shift, both Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I'm guessing. And real simple. And from what I was told about this from the beginning is that this is something that's going to be every day, just normally in our jobs. So before, like, my crew would go out and lay asphalt for the day somewhere on a state highway, the guys and myself included, we are going to fill one of these out. This is something that's new to us, all of us at UDOT, but it is coming, and it's just like, get used to it. I know out to Hilldale, everybody was okay with it, and it took like a whole 10 minutes to fill it out, and we went to work, so.
Yeah, it doesn't take that much time. You're saying, well, it's another form. We'll get into that why and where and how in a minute. But thanks, Todd. That was a good, get this thing back on my ear. Okay, so it's pretty easy. But, okay, at risk versus a safety culture. What are the at-risk people saying? What do they say? If it hurts or if it's going to hurt, don't do it. Remember when Joe did that? He did that job and he got hurt. Isn't the observation card good enough? We have this is another part of our roads program, by the way. This is the next step into the roads process, into our safety program. Too much paperwork. Why do we add another form? The form is a tool to remind you of everything that should be discussed. And it's also a way to do the proper documentation, which is required by OSHA standards. Almost every federal law, it covers us as far as OSHA standards go, which we aren't doing very good in UDOT as it is. Okay? And we are already safe enough. Why do we need to change? Well, there's always room for improvement. Okay, what's the safety culture saying? Let's take a minute and discuss the risks or hazards that we may face today. Remember, not everyone who believes that common sense is common anymore. Okay, common sense, as we speak about it, so let's see, as we remember it in the old days, isn't common anymore. The people coming into the workforce, these young guys or anybody that's coming into the workforce, didn't have the same experiences that the older people's had. So their common sense isn't the same as your common sense. You understand? They have not had the same opportunities to go out and work on the farm or go out and do this. Or there's a lot of people that are coming into UDOT that have never actually worked on the highway, and we can't assume that they know all of the hazards. So this is another way to ensure that everybody on the job has got the same information, has been informed of the same things, and everybody has signed off that they were there and that they understand it. Okay? Okay, we're going to keep going through this. With the benefits of using a JSA, this is the benefits of a larger safety program. It can prevent injuries. It will prevent injuries. It reminds everybody, establishes proper procedures, ensure all employees are trained properly for the job being performed. That's a big deal right there. Starts the job. It starts a job and as safety-focused communication, and a safety-focused communication dialogue. Puts everybody in the right frame of mind to begin with. Okay, how do we use them? That should be done with everyone. All employees should be involved. Everybody that's working on that project, on that task, should be involved in performing the JSA for that task, in filling it out, okay? Should be done as a crew, and make sure that everyone has input. Review your accident history. If you've had an accident or somebody's got hurt or had a close call, doing that task, list it on the JSA, make sure that everybody knows, hey, there's a potential hazard here. And this is how we found out it was a potential hazard. Somebody almost got hurt. Somebody almost got hit. Somebody, whatever it is, okay? So-and-so almost got his finger cut off. Whatever it is, we put that on there, okay? Conduct a preliminary job review, look at the tasks, tools, equipment, travel, experience levels, training, weather, public, any other potential impact or potential hazard. So if there's energy there, there's a potential for a hazard. There's a potential for an injury. It becomes a hazard, it's a potential for injury. So what's one thing that's working against you all the time? What's one of the biggest cost accidents in UDOT? Yeah, slip, trip, and falls. So what's the energy there? Gravity. Even gravity is a potential hazard. So you can get down to that being that picky. Oh, that's common sense. Everybody knows it. No, they don't. Not everybody can identify every slip, trip hazard. It's better if we help each other out. So, okay. Next thing you do is you list, rank, and set priorities for for the hazardous jobs. Okay, the unacceptable risks, the ones that we don't want to even get close to, they're listed first. The biggest listed first, the smallest listed at the bottom. Okay, outline the steps or tasks. Okay, use the past jobs to guide you in filling out the steps or tasks. Use experienced employees to do that. Use pictures, videos when possible. Follow up after completing the job task, conduct an after-action review. And also, one step in here is if somebody identifies a hazard during the job that wasn't identified prior, then you can stop work, bring everybody up to speed, and let everybody know the hazard, and then move on. We're going to get into that in a few minutes, too. Okay, each person participating in the job must sign the form. Everyone has to be trained. What's the number one thing for OSHA regulations? Everyone has to be trained in every single job that they do. Or who's liable? You guys that just went through OSHA training? The employer is liable. So those of you that have supervisor positions, you are liable for your employees. If they didn't get trained properly, then it's kind of on your head. I mean, I don't want to flower it up, but it really is. It's kind of on your head for not training them. It's nobody else's fault but yours. If you're their supervisor, your job is to ensure that they know how to do that job correctly and properly. Okay? Okay, you make changes if needed during the job, but do so during a safety pause so everyone can note the changes. So stop work, note it, put it on the form, make everybody sign it, and then go on. Okay? Here's a worksheet. I just handed that out. It's really simple. This is a job safety analysis worksheet for changing a flat tire. So, first step, sequence of tasks. If you have a flat tire while driving down the road, what do? First thing, park the vehicle, okay? Are there any potential hazards in parking the vehicle? You guys have the cheat sheet right there. Yeah, soft shoulder, what else?
Be hit by passing traffic.
Yep, can be hit by passing traffic, can be hit by a vehicle on even soft ground. Vehicle may roll over onto the driver if you don't put the jacks, if the jack isn't stable. We list every hazard, okay? What are some preventive measures? What can you do to mitigate that?
Move the vehicle off farther, get on some solid ground, chalk the wheels so that it doesn't have the potential to roll.
Yeah, so you have a mitigation for every hazard listed. Okay, next step. Get the spare tire and the toolkit out. Then the jack. Okay, you're getting the stuff out of the trunk. Okay, anything there that's a hazard. Lifting, bending, potential trip, slip and fall. Okay, next step. Pry off the hubcap. Potential hazards there. Your pry bar may slip. Your hubcap may snap off and hit you. What are you going to do to mitigate that? You list those there. Next step, loosen the lug nuts. So, do we want to get this detailed in every task? Yes, if we need to. If there's a potential hazard there, it should be this detailed. When loosening the lug nuts, your lug nuts may slip and hurt the driver, and so on and so on and so forth. But it's really fairly simple. It's that easy.
We found that, how many times have we all had to go back to the shed, get something you forgot? So sometimes if you fill this out, it'll make sure you get everything you need before you leave to go to the job.
So are you using these on your crew now? You're finding them helpful? Yeah. And here's the thing too that not everybody knows is out in the industry, out in the big bad world, this is the norm. Most big companies, most manufacturing companies, most mines, most contractors are using this already. We're just bringing UDOT up to speed. But this is something that we want everyone in UDOT to start doing every day. Okay? Along with the close call form, along with the observation card. Okay? Management should require it. And supervisors, this is a great tool for you because it starts the conversation of the day out thinking about what are we going to do to be safe today? How's everybody's going to go home safe? We're not going to crash anything. We're not going to wreck anything. We're not going to get anybody hurt. And we're not going to cause any damage to the traveling public. Excuse me. Okay, it starts this conversation. It teaches new employees and even the current employees, any of your old employees, it teaches the importance of safety. And it certifies to the manager that you're covering safety as part of your daily duties and responsibilities. And it validates your concern for your public safety. It cements in their head and your employees' head, hey, I care about you. I really do, and this is why we're doing this. So, okay, we may miss something. We talked about that. What do you do if you miss something? Fill out a close call form. That's what the close call form's for. If the JSA misses something, you stop, you fill out a close call form, you have a record of it, and then you pass it up, and then it's supposed to be shared UDOT wide. We're working on a way to make sure that every close call gets shared UDOT wide, so that everyone learns from, hey, this almost happened to somebody. Don't let it happen to you. Watch out for this. Okay? The safety managers, after you turn in the close call form to the safety manager assesses the incident, generates a safety flash report, and send it out UDOT wide. Okay, but we're not going to have your name on it. Your name has to be on the form, but we're not going to publish name on the flash report. It's just going to be a description of the incident, what happened, and what to do to mitigate it. Okay, what to do to make sure that nobody else gets hurt. Okay. A leadership tool. The after action reviews are a leadership tool that they're used for continuous improvement. Now you have these with your shed. After you get the job finished and you look through your JSA, you say, okay, you can just do this in 5 minutes tonight. Is there anything that we talked about this morning that we missed that should be added to this? And then you take this JSA form for that task you did and you put it in a file for that task. So the next time you have to do that job, you just go to your file cabinet, pull the JSA form out, and you've already got a start for what you had from last time. You can just go over it, make a new one out, and go over, okay, this is what we did last time. Remember, these were the hazards we came up with. This is what we found out after that were potential hazards, and so everybody knows, everybody goes, you just go through it. It's pretty simple. So you're not reinventing the wheel every single time you do that same task. Okay, did we pass out that yet? Okay, I'm going to pass out a job safety form that we're going to be using.
Yeah.
You passed it out? Okay. Oh, we'll get those in a few minutes. Okay, here's our form. If there's any questions on how to use that, it's pretty straightforward, pretty safe, just pretty easy. You start with the first page, work site, project name, and then you list the basic job steps, just like we did. Basic job steps, potential hazards, and safety controls. After that, you put down who was there, who's in attendance, who's there, and have them sign it and date it. Okay, as you use this form, you can, like if you've got a project that's about 2 weeks long, you just can use the same form every day. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every day. So you take a few minutes and have the safety meeting and fill out the form, and then the next morning you bring the same form out and go over it again and everybody sign it. You just renew it every day. Is that what you did in Hilldale a lot? And
Same job. Generally, it was the same workers working on that job. We just had them redo it. And then if we did have new workers come in that was changing out somebody's duties, we added their name to the participating list for that day. So we reminded them of the hazards, had them put their names and sign it, and then they were good to go.
So, okay, so what's the difference between the JSA form, the roads card? You can hand those out now too. Have you guys seen the new roads cards we're going to be introducing? Some people have got them, some people don't. They're pretty cool. Okay, so the JSA form is about the job and the task. It analyzes the job and the task. The roads form analyzes human behavior. How do you as an individual work at each task you're doing? And the close call form is a way to make sure that everyone knows about any potential serious risks that that have to have action done on them. So close call forms are for the big hazards and the hazard mitigation. The roads card is for the individual person, and the JSA form is for the job, for the task. And that's our tools to analyze our whole process of working and ensure that we're covering everything and making sure that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing every day. So, any questions and comments? Because we're getting done awful fast. I'm good? Well, I told them I didn't have very much time for this class, and they said it was okay. Whatever I took, I took. So, does anybody want to talk about anything else? Uh-huh.
And right there where 12 goes off of 89, Skunk was ahead of me, and we were empty, thank goodness, we were coming back. And one of those tour buses just pulled right out in front of him. And had he had a load in it, there's no way he'd have stopped. He'd gone right through the middle of that tour bus. And he was able to get stopped, and the driver's eyes were about that big a hand. Well, you know, I filled out a close call form on it, and I got a call from Robert, I got a call from Rick, we got, you know, and they're actually gonna go out there and really look at how they can change that intersection to make it safer.
Yeah, they're actually talking about putting $500,000 into it to lengthen it out and making some major changes to that intersection. And that came from one close call form. That's a great example of how it works.
So, and you can, I mean, so in your own areas, if you've got issues like that, identify them, and, you know, you never know when the region director will get behind it and, you know, provide you money for a solution, and, you know, it really works out well, and, you know, we all know that's the driving factor in what we're doing is, you know, being able to fund those kind of improvements.
Yeah, and I might add too, it doesn't have to be your own personal or employee close call. If you see a close call happening that's involving the traveling public, let's identify it and have it looked at. For example, I observed several times in the last few months of people running the four-way stop in Salina. They're just not seeing the stop signs, not seeing the flashing lights, and they're just blowing right through it. And so I asked Robert and Rick, I says, hey, what are we going to do about it? Somebody's going to get T-boned and somebody's going to get killed there. And so we did a signal study, and it warrants a signal, and there's a traffic signal being installed there as we speak. So that's another example of close calls. So, but yeah, you're right, Eric, thanks. It does make a difference to speak up. Things happen. Don't assume that, you know, what's Laurie saying? Was it you and I talking about somebody should do that? No, it was Ann and I were having a conversation. If you say in your mind somebody should do something about that person that should be doing something about it is probably you. Okay? So if you're finding yourself saying somebody should do something about it, you know, we've got ways to communicate now. These forms are just tools to communicate between all of us and reminds us of what we're supposed to be doing. But if nobody else has anything to add, then we get out early today. So hope you're enjoying the conference, and thanks for coming to my presentation. I know who my friends are now.